Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to elaborate on a conversation that I had with one of you guys yesterday, a viewer who actually reached out to me directly to talk about one of the forbearance videos I did. Now, as you know, I've done a lot of forbearance videos over the last couple of weeks, telling you how you can get in touch with your lender, what you should do if you're in a position where you can't make your payment. But this conversation was a bit different in the fact that this viewer, if you will, had reached out to his bank and they had given him some options. And he wanted to get my take on it. So I thought that was worth sharing because if he had questions about it, chances are you do too. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. But before we do that, I'm Jeb Smith, and my channel is all about real estate, all about mortgage, all about trending topics like COVID-19 and how that's affecting those too. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, hit the subscribe button, stay up to date on what's going on in that world. So the conversation started with him letting me know that, he had reached out to his bank, who is Mr. Cooper, which happens to be the same lender that I have. But, he contacted the bank, went over his scenario, and essentially they had given him the option of missing 3 payments. And at the end of the 3rd payment, they would reevaluate his situation, and at that time they may give him more options, for another 3-month or another 6-month delay in making the payment. Now, I'm going to link to a video above on with regards to forbearance, just in case you don't know exactly what it is, or this is the first video you're watching. And I won't go into a lot of detail here, but a forbearance is essentially allowing you to miss your payments now and make them up at some point in the future. Now, there's a couple different options out there that are being offered, but this particular case, they are allowing him to miss his 3 payments, at which point they would allow him to pay it at some point in the future. And if he was still in a financial hardship at the end of 3 months, they said that they would reevaluate it at that time and potentially give him more options. Now, his question to me was, should he accept it? And so I started that conversation to him by asking a couple of different things. I asked him, are you actually in a financial hardship? Yes, he was in a financial hardship. He's in sales. He had actually lost part of his income, and he's basically helping his parents make the mortgage payment. So he's not actually the one on the loan. His parents are, but they're not in a position to make the mortgage either. So he's essentially helping them. And that, because of his loss in income due to sales, he's in a financial hardship and not able to make the payment. So the answer was yes, he's in that financial hardship. The second question I asked was, have you made your March payment? Are you current on your mortgage payment? And he said yes. I said, well, my recommendation at this time would be to hold off. Don't accept the terms that they are offering because, over the next couple of weeks, those terms could change in your favor. They could benefit you. Now, the government has more or less requested that lenders give you up to 1 year of forbearance. And now no one's forcing the hand of these lenders or these servicers. So I did a video on this too, which I'll link to above. But these lenders aren't necessarily offering you the best terms available at the moment, the best that they can offer you. They're doing basically what they want to do because nobody's forcing their hand. And what I mean by that is lenders still have to pay the bondholders on these loans, the people that own the actual mortgage-backed security. So even though you're missing your payment, that lender, that servicer, Mr. Cooper, still has to pay the investor. So if you don't make your payment, they still have money going out every month. And the more people that don't pay, the more money they still have going out that they don't have coming in. So it puts them in a very, in a hardship as well, in a financial conundrum, if you will, where they have a loss of income, but they're still required to pay it out. And so a lot of these lenders don't want to give you a full year up front or a full 6 months up front, because the sooner they can get you paying on that loan, the sooner they have some money coming in and they can pay that servicer. Because if everybody stops paying at once and they have no money coming in for 3, 6, 9, 12 months, that's a big problem, and they're still working on trying to figure out this problem, but at the time there's no resolution on that. So where I'm going with this is lenders are going to do what they're allowed to do at the moment. And because nobody's forcing their hand, they're allowed to give you this 3-month option. And, if that 3-month option doesn't benefit you at the moment, I would say hold off. Now, if you're in a position where you've already missed March's payment or you're late on your payment for whatever reason, yeah, I would say accept, the forbearance that they're offering and deal with what happens at 3 months or 6 months or what have you. But now keep in mind, as you accept this forbearance, initially, you're not really required to document it. You're required to have a conversation with them and tell them that you have a financial hardship, but there's no documentation required at this time. Now, at 3 months, when that comes due, they may then require you to document something that shows you have a financial hardship. So who's to say that, if you can't provide that, then they may just ask you to start paying your full loan again. So I would try to push as hard as I could to get the longest term initially up front. That way you're not having to have these conversations in 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, in 3 months or whatever it is. You can get, the 6 month or 12 month up front. And that way, you've got a little bit of security. And if you get your job back or get your income stable between then and that time period, then you can actually cancel the forbearance and start making your payments again. Now, the problem is you don't really know what's going to happen in 3 months or 6 months. And that was his deal. His question was like, how do I even know what they're going to do in 3 months or 6 months? Unfortunately, we don't have an answer at this point, but we do know what's been required of them. They've been required to give you up to 1 year based on the CARES Act. I'll link to the CARES Act above. If you don't know exactly what's happening in the CARES Act, I give more detail there. But in the CARES Act, they require servicers, lenders to give you up to 12 months. So, in 3 months, if you're not in a position to make your payment, in theory, they should continue delaying that. Now, I can't say for a fact that they're going to do that, but that's what they should do based on what was passed. Now, again, at this time, if you're not late on your payments, keep pushing. Call every week. Let them know, hey, look, I'm in a financial hardship. 3 months doesn't do me any good. Get into detail about your loss of income. And, keep in mind, every one of these conversations is recorded. You're on a recorded line. So you want to make sure you document all of these conversations that you're trying to push for more time, so that if they listen to these in the future for any reason, or there's any discrepancy in what you said or your account, there's some conversation of it. So I would say keep pushing, try to get more and more time until you're actually going to be late on your mortgage, and then call and get that forbearance. Now, whatever you get, make sure you get it in writing, right? You want something in writing that says exactly what you had a conversation with them over the phone. That way you have some documentation. If something comes up in the future, you're able to, rely on documentation or have something to fall back on, so that you don't have any issues there. So, I thought that conversation could help some of you guys. So basically in a short snidbit, if you will, what I would recommend is calling your lender, having that conversation, and not accepting the terms until you're happy with them, and or till you're about to miss your mortgage payment, at which point accept what they're going to give you and then deal with that and try to work out extensions in the future if you need it. So, if you have additional questions about forbearance, do me a favor, comment below. If you've reached out to your lender and you've had these conversations and you've actually been able to push for more, I'd love to hear about it. That gives me more information to pass on to you guys and, and to help more people. So as always, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch. I appreciate all you guys' feedback, the calls, the conversations, the emails. I'm grateful for that and grateful to help. So again, thank you, and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.